Okay, we're going to make what's called a box and whisker plot. Before this video, you should have learned how to do a 5-number summary. Once you have a 5-number summary, your data is not really needed anymore, okay? We have what we need for a box and whisker plot, okay? So what we do is we start by finding our 5 points on a graph, okay? So our median is 7, okay? Our upper quartile is 8. Our lower quartile is 3. Our maximum is also 8. And our minimum is 1. Okay, so for lower quartile, median, and upper quartile, you're going to put these lines. For your maximum and minimums, you're just going to put a dot. Okay? Now we're going to connect it all. It's called the box and whisker plot because of the fact that you've got your box in the middle and you've got these whiskers off to the sides. Okay? Oops, that was too long because our minimum is 1. Because our maximum is also the same as the upper quartile, you just don't see it, okay? Now, one other thing you need to understand is how to interpret this data, okay? So every single one of these, so this right here is 25% of our information. This right here is 25% of our information. This right here is 25% of our information. And this right here is 25% of our information. So when you think of quartile, kind of think of quartile and quarter, 1/4 of our information. A quarter is a quarter of a dollar, okay? So of our data, because if you remember, we had 8 points. Below the lower quartile, there were 2 numbers. Above the lower quartile and to the median, there were 2 numbers. Above the median and up to the upper quartile, there were 2 numbers. And above the upper quartile, there were 2 numbers, okay? So we split it into fourths, okay? So what you can interpret with this is how spread out the information is. And I like to think of density, how heavy something is or compressed, okay? So it kind of think of like a city population. If you have 500 people in a city versus 500 people in a block, that's still the same number of people, but how spread out or condensed they are. Okay, so right here we have 25% of the information very compressed. We have another 25% of the information fairly compressed. 25% of the information very spread out. 25% of the information pretty spread out. So you know that this data set is heavy on one side. Just as an example, you might also see one like this, where it's very even, 25, 25, 25, 25, okay? It's very spread out data, okay? Just a little way of interpreting a box and whisker plot.